Holy criminally. I think it was. Ah! I'm sorry. Hi. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it. I thought I turned the phone off, and apparently I hadn't. So you guys sat there, you guys, as if you're sitting there. The camera just sat there because I was just gonna run the cat in real quick and get her. Hold on, I got people. It's a busy road here, people. Do you mind like letting people know what your intentions are? I think I've got a clear to go if I hurry. Here we go. Whee! Speed racer, eat your heart out. Woo! And I beat the traffic. Look at that. Oh, but they're not happy because I pulled out right. They turned over. Huh. Not my fault. So, anyway. So, Bells has been dropped off now. Oh, my poor sweet Guido. And she just took her as soon as I came in, too. She's like, let's get her upstairs. Get her acclimated. Oh, I didn't really get to say bye to her. That's okay. That's okay. Saturday we'll go back and get her. My poor sweet Guido. Anyway. What was I talking about? We were talking about the why should I. We went on to something else too. Whew. What a day. Oh gosh. Yeah. I'm not even sure at the moment what to say, because like my brain is all like still and everywhere else. La 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 la. This might be the one. The last one I might actually publish, because I actually did talk about some stuff. A little overboard, but not too bad. I just wish I could. I tried to see if there was like a secondary YouTube thing, like an option for you to create like 2 channels. They're linked, but they're separate. So people can, you know, if they subscribe to one channel, that doesn't mean they're subscribed to the other one, you know, unless they actually physically do subscribe to it. And that way I could leave like these junk ones that here and there they might have some information. And again, if something does happen, then at least people will know what led up to it. I know, crazy. I'm sitting here smiling and talking about it when I say it, in case something happens, you know. In case I don't make it. Ding! Smile. Because, hey, it's the truth. Oh, yeah, this morning. Oh, boy. Well, I might as well. It's kind of actually a sad realization. So the whole why should I conversation actually started because this morning, because I'm laying there, my alarm went off, and I set my alarm for like an hour and a half before I have to get up, and I was trying to go back to bed. I had to deal with the kittens, and then I tried to go back to bed, and then I laid there for a little bit. And something, it was, you know, it was like those moments where you're like, if I really try hard to, I think I could go back to bed. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's just gonna happen. So maybe I should just get up, kind of thing. And of course, the thought in my head is exercise, because I haven't for a while. Because hey, why should I? Right? Now, I say that because, so it's funny, a while back I had this like physical trainer. It was just a friend of mine that was trying to help me with getting back in, you know, keeping up some different exercises and keeping in shape and stuff. And I tried to explain to this person, this is funny, because this person was a more functional type thinking person, and I tried to explain to them that I have to how am I going to say this without sounding real weird? Well, to some people I'll sound really weird. To other people I'll sound like, hey, you're like family. It's like seeing things that aren't there. So, okay, there are different levels to that. And the particular level that I'm at this point is more so feeling something that's not there and somewhat creating an image of it. Enough so, like the energies become so strong that you can kind of like feel, you can kind of feel, how do I say this? You can kind of feel like a person there. You know, it's like when you're watching a movie, right? In the middle of the night. Of course, it's probably the scary movie, right? Middle of the night, you're watching a movie, and you're sitting there on the couch. And then all of a sudden, you get this feeling like you're not alone, right? And not only do you turn around, okay? But you turn around, and your head automatically, it doesn't just, you don't turn around and your eyes stay at that same level that you're at. But your eye level goes up or down. Have you ever noticed that before? Where you actually change your position to look at someone almost as if there's a specific something in the room with you that has a specific size, shape, mass to it. Well, there, go on, blue car. It's a good car. Well, here's the funny thing. Now, of course, some of that reasoning might be because the movie that you happen to be watching, you know, right before you turned your head to look behind you and you looked down, you were watching Leprechaun. Okay, so maybe that's part of that reason. Or, you know, I'm trying to think of one of the big, tall, scary ones, and you're like, oh, and you turned your head around. But some of that is sometimes because you might be sensing something. I don't know. I can't speak for other people. I know I've talked to some people, and I can't really talk about it at this time because it's their personal stuff. I can't talk about it, but there are some people that do pick up on that stuff, and it isn't until your senses sometimes are changed. For example, when you're watching a scary movie or a love movie, not just a scary movie, not just a love movie, but one that really gets you, really scares you, really gets you in the heart, really, you know, something about it really gets to you. It opens up it opens up a different part, we'll say, of the emotional, just as a way of explaining it, that you maybe don't normally have open, which then allows you to think, feel, all that. I shouldn't say think, but kind of think, feel differently than you normally do. It's only for a split second, and yes, it is an imbalance because it's not your normal process. Again, see, imbalances aren't always that bad. Sometimes they're good things. But it can cause a disruption in your system. It can cause negative to happen out of a positive type of imbalance. Who knows? Whatever. Anyway, the point is that it's opening up a different part of you that then allows you to operate a little differently, which is one of the reasons I said that about maybe you are picking up on energies. See, before the movie started, you weren't picking up on the energies. But after that movie happened and it increased your emotional level, the energy, so to speak, in you, which then increased that emotion in you somehow. Not the emotions, but the emotional side. It does affect the functional as well. I won't go into all that because I won't go into all the little nitty-gritty back and forth stuff because nobody wants to hear that. I know that. I've done that a few times on people. I've said, well, this is what your brain was doing, and it went to this, 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 just to figure out you wanted to drink water. And they were like, okay. Confuses people. So I won't go into that. But what was I saying? Sorry, I got distracted by that part. Anyway, the point is your emotional level as well as your functional has changed, and you're processing a little bit differently, which is why you might be picking up on an energy and actually picking up on an energy. Now, is that an energy because of a ghost? Or is that an energy because you're actually picking up on the energy that's, you know, the electricity in the walls, the Wi-Fi, you know, there's all kinds of electricity, energy, whatever you want to call it, magnetic fields, la la la, happening around us. Some are low level, some are higher level, and you're now able to pick up on it. Your senses have been heightened. Actually, now that we're on that subject, I'm just going to bring this up real quick. It's probably silly, and I haven't really given it a whole lot of thought, so you're just getting the basic raw thought right now. And that is, I was thinking about animals, and especially I was watching the kittens and Toby interacting today. I had one of those laser pointers, and that's really funny how you can see mental health in animals and how they have similar, I mean literally similar, their brains do the same things ours do when it comes to mental health. So Toby is he's dealt with depression. I've never had him diagnosed or anything. You just look at the cat and you can kind of tell. But he has depression and he has anxiety. He's kind of jumpy. He's kind of angry. He's kind of a lot of stuff. Anyway, he also uses his tail as a pacifier. I'm gonna just go on and on. Anyway, he's so I have this laser pointer and I'm playing with Jerry, the one kitten, and he's just having a great old time. Just him in the room with me. And then I can't remember if Bells came in or Toby came in. Toby came in, and at first he looked like he might be interested to play with it. The little red dot rolling across the floor, not rolling, whatever you want to call it, moving across the floor. At first it looked like he might have been interested to play with it, just for like a split second, and then his face went to that look that he gets. And he even like hissed at Jerry a couple times, but he's been doing that since Jerry had the surgery because he smells different now. You know, he doesn't have his strong manly smell anymore than he had, I guess. I don't know, I'm guessing with that. Like I said, first time thought here, people. But yeah, what was it? Trying to remember how that happened exactly. And of course driving comes first, not thinking about other things. Got it good. So Jerry's having a good time. Toby's like, look on his face. And he kind of like backs up to walk out of the room. And I think he was standing there for a few minutes. Well, I said, come here, Toby. You want to be cranky? That's fine. Come up on the bed with me, and I'll sit here and play with the kittens, and then you'll be out of the way, but you can watch them. Because I know that's what he wants to do. Because every time they start doing something fun, I can see it. For a split second, I can see it in his face where he wants to actually join. But something just stops him. Ha ha! Don't sound familiar at all, does it, people? Yeah, it does. And, so I can see this look on his face where he is, it's that look. You can just see it. I'm detached, and yet if I was honest with myself, deep down inside, I want to play too. I want to do that too, but I'm detached. So that's a weird name. So anyway, so he's sitting there on the bed, and I'm playing with the laser pointer, not really paying attention to him. And all of a sudden I look over and I realize he's not watching the floor. He's not watching them playing anymore. He's just watching that laser pointer in my hand. He's not looking directly at the light part. He doesn't have a look on, like when a cat sees something of interest and they're following it, and they have that look on their face where, hey, I'm interested. I'm watching this. I'm watching. Ooh, what are you doing? And their eyes get a little bigger, and all that stuff. Nope. He's got that. I'm just gonna call it like it is. He's got that very functional. Yeah, I see how that works. Bored, just playing, and as well as the detached kind of look on his face. There's no interest. It's like seeing the magic trick. The truth behind the magic trick. Oh, you just ruined it. Okay, yeah, I see how you do it. Sure. Not, I see how you do it. Nope. Yeah, I get it. I see how you do it. I think there was a tiny bit of fascination in his eyes, but it wasn't because of the laser pointer. I think it was more, this is gonna sound silly. It's almost gonna sound human. I think it was more so that he was not amused, not entertained necessarily, and not even necessarily intrigued, but there was something about the fact that he was realizing this laser pointer is entertaining these kittens in the way that it is. Like, wow, they're really that entertained by that thing? That thing right there has got them running back and forth like that? Really? Really? So, anyway, yeah. Toby. Do something about him. I'm going to try one of those pheromone calendars. Collars! I'm going to try a pheromone collar and see if that maybe helps him to at least chill a little bit. Especially with the other two getting fixed. It is changing things, and that messes with him. And, oh boy, you can't mess with him. Whew! He weed on the floor in the other room, in the one bedroom. Which he doesn't normally do that, unless he's kind of forced to because he can't get out of the door or something. He doesn't normally do that. But he did it, and he did it on purpose, because he looked right at my mom. Found himself a comfortable spot and did it. Knowing that it would be reported to me. He did it on purpose. And why? Because I changed his food bowl. I figured it out later. I couldn't figure it out at first. I was like, really? It's been a few days since Jerry got fixed and everything. Why are you suddenly doing this? What caused the difference? I changed his food bowl. That was it. He had two food bowls, and I switched him down to just the one. The other one fit on top of it. It was like one of those McDonald's buckets, like Halloween buckets, and then one of those little Rubbermaid, you know, the little, not Rubbermaid, what do they call them? The little food containers, clear food containers with the lid to it, you know. And I set it down inside of it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I can't remember now what the reasoning was. It's been like that for months, though, where you have the bowl inside that bucket. And I just put food in both of them. And it's been that way. Well, now the cats are on the same food. The kittens were on kitten food, and Toby was on his cat food, and, you know, there was a difference. Now they're all on the same. So I switched it. And now when I originally was going to do it, I meant to do it, I don't want to say like with a ceremony, because there was no ceremony involved, but some type of a show to Toby to show him, now this is our reset. We're going to reset now. We're going to do this now. We're changing the bowl situation, and that's okay. You know, some type of way of letting him know now we're all on the same food now, so it's okay if they eat out of that bowl. It's something. I hadn't quite figured it out yet, but it's no big deal. And, whoops, there we go. No turn on red, so I have to sit here. But I ended up not getting to do that, so it just got switched on him, which of course to me was no big deal. To the kittens really was no big deal, which is why at first I didn't realize it was a big deal for him. And wow, hold on a minute here, we got a problem in the street. I guess people are waiting to turn into this one place, and so they're backing up all the traffic. Okay, anyway, so it's interesting though. It's really interesting to look at them and to see them acting, ooh, goodness, to see them acting like humans mentally. Their mental capabilities, acting like the same way humans do, and they get depressed and stuff, and, you know, things like that. Anyway, goodness. So the why should I? Back to back to the why should I? Let me think here. What was I talking about? Well, this morning I couldn't go back to sleep. I wanted to go back to sleep. It was time to go back to sleep, but also if I was going to get up and exercise, it'd be a good time. Well, I didn't get up right away. I laid there and kind of fought it for a few minutes, you know, because you can. Because it was like, no, I should just go back to bed. I haven't been exercising in a while, and it's not like, if I had been exercising again for a while, it would be different, but I haven't been, and, all kinds of la reasoning as to not do it. It's similar to the distraction that your brain will give you when you have anxiety and stuff, and it's using all kinds of different things as distractions. It's similar to that. But not quite the same, because there isn't an anxiety along with it necessarily. There can be. Whoa, hello people. We're in that lane. We are in that lane. We're already there. I know, it's a horrible, horrible traffic situation. Sorry. Horrible traffic situation there. I don't know why they do that. Over the railroad tracks to make your lane actually change once you get over to the other side automatically. It's now moved over, and not everybody knows that. Anyway, so it can, again, this is difficult because I'm covering everybody in the world and all their different types of situations, so it can affect people that way. Typically, it does not, but it can. Anyway, so this morning it's having the whole back and forth, and I realized it's the why should I, which means, yeah, I gotta fight with it. Unless it really makes sense. When I get the why should I feeling as opposed to the don't need to, I take an extra step to look at it just a smidgen more than I do when it comes to the geez and crackers. Does this person not know how to drive? Wow. I mean, they're like out in the middle of the intersection just because they want to get over. Woo. Anyway, sorry. But when I have the why should I know it can be argued with, so I do try to argue with it. Now, when I first started dealing with my depression and trying to figure it out and to, I don't want to say fight it, but kind of, the first thing I had to do was actually not fight it. I think I said it in one of the other videos. Don't fight the depression. Because you feel like you're being attacked for a reason. Because your brain is attacking you, just like you are attacking your brain. And so if you stop fighting, your brain can stop fighting. Makes sense? Right? Kind of. So the idea is that, the first thing you do is stop fighting, and then your brain stops fighting. And then you can kind of reset and kind of pick your battles more. You will still have the don't need to and the why should, but you'll start seeing more why should I instead of don't need to. It'll go back and forth because, again, unless you actually fix the problem that's causing the issue, it's still a problem. Or also, what's the other thing I was going to say? There was another or, but I forgot what it was. Sorry. Anyway, the point is, it goes back and forth and stuff. Yeah, it's not a cure. Nobody's looking, I never ever will say that it's a cure. I might say it just because it sounds good to say it, but truly it's not a cure, because I don't believe that depression is necessarily curable, because I think it is a normal process in the brain. We call it depression because, because of what it does to our brain, because of all the things that end up happening, because the brain is confused. Like I said, if you could just freeze that teeny tiny microsecond of a microsecond that happens when in your normal everyday life and you're happy and everything's fine, and then something happens that doesn't make sense, and it's not even that big a deal. But if you could just freeze that tiny little second where your brain is just for a microsecond of a microsecond paused, it stopped. It's not moving. You might not even have stopped moving. I don't know. The point is that if you could freeze that, then you would see. If you could freeze that, but then also add emotion to it, the sad emotion to it, then you would see it's depression. That's one of the tough things about being able to convince people with that, because it is a simple experiment, and truly, if you didn't have to worry about the emotional part of it, it's possible that simple experiment could be done by people and they would really see what I'm talking about. Oh, wow, that really is how it feels when you're depressed. You're right. That really is how it feels. where it's just like that same feeling you get when something doesn't make sense. That teeny tiny second right after the information goes in the brain, but before the brain gears have started turning and saying, wait a minute, huh? Before it does the huh. Because that means your brain has started working again. When you question, that means brain is working again. It's that tiny, teeny, teeny, tiny microsecond of a microsecond. I keep saying that, I know. Why are the lights on? That's weird. The only problem is because the emotion that goes along with depression, that sad feeling, I can't recreate that at the same time as you're doing the experiment, because that's the only thing that's missing. If you could just imagine, if the next time you're depressed, if you could just think about how you're feeling without the actual sadness, what is going on in your brain, and you could just get rid of that emotional feeling, that emotional sadness, and whatever, then you'd be like, oh, that is what it feels like when something doesn't make sense. I see it, I get it, but I can't recreate them at the same, we're not recreating them at the same time. My chair's going back. So I can't, it's tough. It really is tough. Because it really is, I can't tell you. I just can't tell you. I can't tell you. It really is how it works. If you could freeze that tiny little second and be like, oh, that is what depression feels like. If you remove the emotion. Now, people who are more functional thinking, or more functional thinking with their depression at that time, they might be able to see it more clearly. I'm not sure, because it's not about real emotion at that time. They're just attached. That's the only real emotion that's involved. The difficulty is when you're attached, there is still an emotion going on. Oh, real quick, I'm gonna go now. But real quick before I go, there was one thing I was saying earlier, and I said, oh, darn it. Did I just forget it again? I did. I just forgot it. I was talking about something, la la la. I forgot what it was now. It was earlier. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, ta-da, that's it. Just me rambling. But I said some okay things, so not so bad.